Hello everyone, this is Taylor Edrington with Royal Gorge Anglers in Canon City, Colorado, the oldest fly shop and guide service on the longest gold medal river in North America, the Arkansas River. Thanks so much for viewing. This is an Arkansas River fly fishing update here. Today is July 7th. We've just kind of breezed past the July 4th weekend into really prime time summer fly fishing on the Arkansas. Flows are now down in the 1200 range, and we actually just received notice this morning that flows, releases will be decreased another 200 CFS today. So by this weekend, we will probably be in that 1000 CFS range in Bighorn Sheep Canyon, and then right around the 500 to 600 CFS range at Granite, and then upstream near the headwater, right around 300 to 450 CFS. Basically, what we're looking at right now is what's left of the prime time edge fishing. It's still that fishing in a barrel time period. The clarity is excellent on the river, so we are fishing a little bit smaller lead attractor dries. Still fishing dry dropper. Starting to fish some dry copper dropper rigs as well with the 2-nymph system underneath a single dry. And then streamer fishing continues to be excellent, especially out of the boat. And what we have really seen in the last 3 to 4 days is a huge upturn in hatch activity. Tons of pale morning duns out there, a lot of yellow sallies, quite a few golden stones hatching now. And we are seeing, quite a few caddis, even a few red quills starting to hatch, and we are seeing some slate drakes on the upper end near the headwater. So we may see more drake activity in the coming weeks. Typically that's more of an early August time period hatch for us as we see heavy red quill activity as well. A little update on how to approach the river. Obviously, we're still fishing the edges heavily, so wet wading is key. Wading's going to become a lot easier here, but still all of the fish are against the edges in 3 to 4 feet, 3 or 4 feet from the edge. We're starting to see a few more fish in structure, more in the middle of the river as these flows drop. You can definitely traverse the river easier and fish some of that structure that's out in the middle, but definitely still focusing on that 3 to 4 feet window along the edge. Heavy pocket water, softer water, inside seam lines against the edges. From a streamer approach, typically, our mindset from a guiding perspective is to fish dry dropper moving upstream on the edges, and then fish streamers moving back. Out of the boat, obviously, you can run dry dropper or streamer as you're moving down. Typically, we're running a dry dropper in the front of the boat with a streamer clean up in the back. Definitely fishing tandem streamer rigs right now. Let's mix it up a little bit. Usually we go, dry dropper first, looking at some patterns, but let's start with streamers today. A few of the lead flies that I like right now, I really like tan and olive kind of bait fish imitations. Bennett's Lunch Money is one of my favorite lead flies right now in that shad coloration. The Clone is one of my favorites with that fish skull, and that is a articulated fly there as well. Running underneath, patterns like Natural Slump Busters, Olive Slump Busters, Tungsten Cone, and of course one of my favorites is the Thin Mint. And running those about 8 to 10 inches, still recommending a fast sink poly leader or a heavy sink tip, running about 4 feet off the sink tip 2x fluorocarbon to my drop, 8 to 10 inches underneath for that second fly on the tandem rig. Moving into dry dropper, let's look at some attractor dries real quick. Like I said, plenty of golden stones out there, but there's some excellent attractor dries that we kind of use as mainstay patterns. Chubby Chernobyl, size 12 to 14. Tan, this one's gold. We love the tan and golds right now. Also a breadwinner pattern that's a new coloration in the chubby family is the Royal Chubby. That's been a great fly for us. And then another great attractor that's just a killer breadwinner pattern is the Goofball. We like the yellow coloration right now. Hippie Stomper, one of our very favorite flies, extremely durable, very buoyant, holds multiple flies up well. This is a size 12 Hippie Stomper in that yellow coloration. Then more golden stone representations, you know, your Tantrum, yellow Tantrum's been excellent, easy to see, super buoyant. And then a newer pattern for us, the Cousin It in the yellow gold coloration. Other great lead flies for a dry dropper. You know, obviously a lot of hoppers starting to kick around. We've seen more green hoppers. This is a Moorish's chartreuse hopper. And then the Charlie Boy hopper is one of our favorites. As always, a great fly. And then underneath, you know, while we're seeing a lot of PMDs and caddis and even a few red quills hatching, we're not seeing a ton of yellow sallies hatching yet. We are seeing a ton of yellow sally nymphs in the water column, and fish are really responding well to yellow sally nymphs. If I were to do a dry copper dropper, this would be my first fly, first dropper fly. This is a Moorish's Iron Sally, which is just a breadwinner pattern for us. Another great pattern is Sloane's Sally. And I have been fishing kind of a sleeper pattern that's been excellent, and that's a size 16 tungstone, golden tungstone. That's John Barr's pattern, size 16. Another great yellow Sally representation that also covers the PMD category is the Guide's Choice Hare's Ear. Fishing that in a 14 and 16 tungsten bead. Getting into the pale morning dun nymphs, which are of course excellent. That's going to be a key fly for you underneath as well as up top as a hatch matcher. The Poxyback PMD, that's Mike Mercer's pattern. Larry Kingery's Gold Ice, which has been around a long time, fishing that in a 16 and 18. And then the Micro Mayfly in the electric yellow color. A lot of caddis larvae kicking around, a lot of caddis hatching right now, varieties of caddis, but chartreuse body, rubber leg, Cocker John is pretty hard to beat right now. And then let's take a look real quick at hatch matchers. Really right now what I'm focusing on are pale morning duns and caddis. Starting with the caddis, I like olive bodies or dark bodies. There are some tan caddis out there as well, but in general the olive body is what I've done best with. Size 16 is my favorite size. This is the Screaming Banshee. This is Charlie Craven's pattern. I've done really well with this. And then the X2 caddis, slight profile, olive body, has been excellent for us. On the pale morning dun category, a couple mainstay patterns. The Film Critic, Bob Quigley's PMD. The CDC Cripple, which is just a mainstay pattern on our river, CDC Cripple PMD. And the Sprout High Vis PMD. Just can do no wrong with this pattern. Easy to see with that parachute, foam parachute. So those are a few flies to take advantage of, a few patterns. Obviously, you can take a look at all of the patterns I've discussed on our website at royalgorgeanglers.com. You can buy, small selections. We sell them in quantities of 3, 2, or 1, just depending on which pattern it is. You can also give us a call if you have any questions about these patterns, how to rig them, how to fish them. As far as a fishing forecast for the next 10 days, things are supposed to stay clear and dry, so we are going to see, like I said, the river fall most likely into the 1,000 CFS range in the next 48 hours. We expect that to kind of maintain in that zone, although it is below average. I don't believe it's going to fall much below that 800 to 900 CFS range in the next 20 days, although it might. And if we do see some heavy monsoon rainstorms up at the headwater and an increased flow on the tributaries coming into our reservoirs upstream, we may see a little bit of an increase in release in the next 20 days. However, my expectation is to see the river in that 900 to 1,200 range, which you couldn't ask for more perfect conditions to keep the water cooler, to keep fish against the edges, kind of in that fishing in a barrel application. So, long story short, get out there and take advantage of it. Great clarity, great conditions, great fishing. Fish are very opportunistic right now. They're still trying to gain calories from, being on a treadmill during runoff. So they're still, fattening up, still gaining those calories, kind of getting back to normal. But as soon as flows really start to bump down below 800 in late July, 900, 800 in late July and early August, fish will really start to disperse throughout the water column, and things will get more difficult and more technical from our perspective. We'll need to fish lighter tippet, we'll need to fish smaller flies, longer leaders, may need to nymph a little bit as well. So come take advantage of the fishing right now. It's really not going to get any better all summer. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at any time, toll free 888-994-6743, or shoot us an email at info@royalgorgeanglers.com. We've been here helping anglers on the Arkansas for nearly 27 years. It's our pleasure to help you for your time on the river. And thanks so much for viewing. Please feel free to stop by the shop. If you have any questions on guided services, we do have some availability, although limited through the month of July and early August during summer prime time. But we'd love to take you out if possible. Thanks so much for viewing. Have an excellent and safe day on the water.